There are many ideas floating around the world, some of which are very popular, some of which seem to be just perfect, but they are not to the Vaishnava standard. They're not according to what Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has given for human beings to live by. Many of these go by the idea of New Age, the so-called New Age movement. I'll just discuss a few of them and give the proper understanding. We can boldly say the proper understanding because it comes from Krishna, who is the supreme authority, which all these New Age people, for all their gushy sentimentality, they don't want to accept that there's a supreme authority or any authority for that matter. One idea very prominent, and this is not only in New Ageism, but spread very widely in the world today, neo-Marxist idea that everyone is equal or should be equal. Men and women are in all respects equal in all ways. Whereas the Vaishnava or Vedic standard is that yes, we are inherently equal in as much as every living being, not just humans, but every living being. We are all inherently equal in as much as we are all spiritual beings, part and parcel of Krishna. But within human society, there is a natural hierarchy. There is discrimination. Spiritually, we are all equal, but materially, according to our previous karmas, reactions, someone is beautiful, someone is not. Someone is more intelligent than someone else. Someone has leadership ability, someone doesn't. There are all these stupid ideas, leadership seminars, and try to make how to be a leader. You can't make a donkey into an ass. Whoops. You can't make a donkey into a horse. That's what I meant to say. See, I'm stupid. But not so stupid that I go in for all these stupid ideas that everyone's all equal and you can make anyone into a leader. That's the whole basis of the much maligned Varnashram system, which Srila Prabhupada wanted to introduce for social sanity. That spiritually we are all equal, but materially we all have different abilities. A boy can be trained and become a great carpenter, but you couldn't train him to be a great intellectual or a great leader of human society. And someone who you can train to be a leader of human society, that natural means they got it from their previous life. They couldn't be trained to be a good carpenter. Maybe in some cases people are good at many different things, but generally people have different qualities. That's why Krishna talks about it in the Bhagavad-gita. Men and women are different. They're not equal in all respects. Men are not equal to women in the matter of giving birth to children. And generally they're not so good at raising children, especially young infants. They're not good at looking after infants. Those two breasts on a woman's body are meant for nurturing children. The children naturally tend to go toward the mother, especially in the early age. I mean, these are simple things which should be there for everyone to understand. Women are not equal to men in all respects either. It should be easy to understand, but so many bogus ideas floating around the world. Then New Agey ideas. Live by the heart, which is all sentimental. Yes, the heart is there. Emotions are there. But we have a head also. We should use the intelligence. If you just follow your emotions or your feelings or your desires, you're living like an animal, because that's what animals do. They don't have the intelligence to discriminate between what should be done and what shouldn't be done. And that's true of demoniac people also. As Krishna says in the Bhagavad-gita, pravriting cha nivriting cha janana vidur asuraha. Demoniac people, they don't recognize what is proper to be done and what is proper not to be done. They just go by their feelings or their ambitions or their sentiments. And same thing, go within, follow the heart. But real intelligence is to see that, well, I don't know everything. I can't understand everything just by looking within myself. The answer should be there to understand what is the ultimate reality, what is spiritual, what does it mean to be spiritual. New Agey people talk about being spiritual in a very vague way. They talk about going within and following the heart, but the answer's already there. But we're tiny living beings. We need spiritual guidance. The answer comes from beyond us, from those who know. Then the very popular one, we are all one. Well, we are all one in as much as we're all spiritual beings, but we're all unique also. I am not you and you are not me. And that's going to be there eternally. They talk about merging with the oneness. This is not New Age exactly. This is long back, going back how many centuries, these ideas, impersonalistic ideas or Buddhistic ideas. Buddhism and classical Advaita Vedanta are very different, but they sound the same to people who don't know the difference. Well, very similar and very different also. Anyway, there's this idea, merge with, it's like they give the example of merging with the ocean, like the rivers go into the ocean. That's true, the rivers go into the ocean, but there are fishes who live in the ocean also. It's not that the ocean is some homogeneous mass. There's so much variegatedness within the ocean. Similarly, there are many paths and they all lead to the same goal. That's nonsense. There are roads which go in one direction and roads which go in another direction. That's why there are signs on the road. Exit here to go to such and such. Or you have your Google map to find the way, or they have these GPS which helps you to find the way, because not all paths go to the same place. So there are many paths, we accept that, but most of the paths in this world go to various destinations which are not the ultimate destination. This idea that all paths lead to the same goal, that all religions are the same. No, there is God, and there is a path to understand Him, and it's not that it's all stereotyped. It is inclusive also. The various people can take to that path at various levels, but the point to understand is that there is the supreme personality of Godhead, and His name is Krishna, and we have to surrender to Him and develop a loving relationship with Him. And that's not the same as just so many different ideas. Who's speaking about these things? Surrendering to Krishna in love. The Vaishnavas speak about this. This is the message of Bhagavad-gita. And you may say, well, this sounds very judgmental. Don't be judgmental. Well, we're all judgmental at every moment. You can't live without having some discretion. If you say don't be judgmental, if you tell me that, then you're being judgmental. So rather, we should cultivate discrimination, not exploitive discrimination, but intelligent discrimination based on proper knowledge. In other words, we should see this is a genuine spiritualist because he follows the path of Scripture. He's serious about it. He doesn't have ulterior motives. And we may see others who are not on the proper path, or they may appear to be on the proper path, but they're doing it with ulterior motives. So it is important to maintain good discretion. Otherwise, we'll be cheated. And if we don't want to apply judgment at any stage and just say, well, everyone's good, then we're cheating ourselves from the very outset. There is a difference between good and bad. There is a difference between understanding God and surrendering to Him and just talking vaguely about spiritualism. Then again, we have respect everyone for what they are. Really? Really? We should respect everyone for what they are? We should respect Hitler for what he was. We should respect people who are exploiting others and destroying the earth. Rather, we should have values and again learn what is proper, what is not proper, and respect those who deserve to be respected. We can give respect, but there are levels of respect also. Ultimately or inherently, we have to respect every living being, and as much as they're all part of God, that is accepted. But people who act in despicable ways, why should we respect that? Hate the sin and not the sinner, but don't say that the sinner's not a sinner. Similar thing, go along to get along. That's a basic rule of social intercourse, not that we have to fight with everyone at every moment, but at the same time, we don't want to go along with things that shouldn't be gone along with. We go along with things and we're going along and along and along and we're going way off course. So sometimes we have to take a stand. We may have to stand apart and say that, hey, I'm not going along with this. This is not right. Then again, do your own thing. What does that mean, do your own thing? As if we're so free that we can do whatever we like? Rather, we should see that we are controlled in so many ways. We didn't choose to get the present body that we have. We didn't choose to be born in a certain situation. We should understand we're all part of a huge setup working under Krishna. There's a divine plan. We should know what Krishna's plan is. Learn what it is. Follow Krishna's divine plan. That means we should act in a disciplined manner for the sake of curbing our sinful tendencies, like those for illicit sex. Do your own thing. That means do what you like. It means if we do what we like, then we just engage in illicit sex and all kinds of sinful activities. But that we think we're acting freely, but we're controlled by our base desires. So we should know what is the divine plan for us and follow that, which means we have to accept a disciplined, regulated life so that we can control these lower tendencies and come out and go above that. But they don't want, they'll say, don't accept any authority. No, authorities are good if we have a good authority, and what is a better authority than Krishna? Then we should surrender to that authority. Anyway, we may say to accept no authority, but you can't live like that. You have to drive on the correct side of the road. It may be the right side or the left side, depending which country you're in. All the time we have to follow authority. We have to follow the authority of material nature who made this body by putting food into it, putting food into the body. Otherwise, I don't accept the authority of nature which dictates that I have to take food. Then you starve. We don't think of that. Or I have to take food. All right, let me put it up my backside. No, you have to put it in the right hole, which is your mouth. There is a system. The universe is set up with a system that we can conform to if we're sane, but at the same time we should understand that the universe is not set up simply for living and eating and sleeping and fornicating. The universe is set up for us, now that we're in the human form of life, to elevate our consciousness, to understand I am a spiritual being and I'm supposed to surrender to the supreme spiritual being who is Krishna. Live in the now. Just think of now. This is another stupid idea, because that means you don't even make any endeavors to maintain the body. Well, that's okay for topmost transcendentalists. But for most of us, we have to see that now I'm in illusion. Now I have to take responsibility for my future. Or just even from the material platform, I have to make some arrangement for living in this world. Take responsibility for our future. That means we have to see, now I'm in this situation, let me progress, let me get better by following the rules of Scripture. This whole idea, living free, natural, they become so degraded they want to go around naked and have free sex. This is very, very degraded. We should live like human beings with principles and intelligence, and live for the uplift of our soul. This so-called living free, natural, well, that's the platform of the animals. Human beings are meant for regulated life, for spiritual upliftment. Real freedom is in the spiritual world with Krishna. That is the real position of the soul. But even there, we are dependent on Krishna. We are tiny, tiny living beings. We are eternally tiny. We'll never, this whole idea, you become God, another completely nonsense idea. You're never going to become God. It's a completely nonsense, rascal idea to think you'll become God. We're so tiny. That is our constitutional position. We are meant for happiness in service to Krishna. This we should understand. Please read Bhagavad-gita as it is, by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Try to understand it, live by it, and just get beyond all these so many stupid ideas which are floating around, which sound spiritual, sound profound, but if you just look at them a little, they're just complete nonsense. Sense we get from Krishna. So take it Make your life successful. Don't be misled by all these so-called personality development gurus and leadership seminar gurus and all nonsense who don't teach us that we are meant, human life is meant for spiritual advancement. Spiritual advancement ultimately means to understand our relationship with Krishna, to surrender to Him in loving devotional service. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.